All right, I think we've done it. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Perfect Tips and Tricks with OESD episode number 29. It's been a little while since I've seen you, so please say hi in the comments. Make sure everything is working well audio-wise. Let me know if it's not. I had some issues, so we have a new Facebook live link, so hopefully we'll get some people coming over from the other one. I apologize for that. I guess that's what happens when you're out of practice. So please say hi in the comments. Let me know that I am reaching you out there in the world. I see Lori and Teresa and Julie, and of course my mother. Hi, Mom. Always good to know we have our loyal fans. So I will give people a minute. If you guys feel like it and you're so inclined, share this with maybe people who might be lost. Thank you, Sharon. Sharon lets me know it sounds good. So I'm Carrie. For those of you who don't know, I'm Carrie with OESD, and it's been a while. We were doing daily live videos. Gosh, a while back. I actually looked, the last one was the end of April, which is unbelievable to me that we have gone through 4 months so quickly. So we are all still here. I am still here at home. I don't think any of us expected to still be kind of in this place we are now, but here we are. So I missed you guys, and I thought this was a great opportunity to talk about one of our new collections. Also talk about what's been going on with OESD, what's coming up, that kind of stuff. So if you have questions, please throw them in the comments also, because I'm happy to answer them. I will not tell you when all of the new holiday releases are coming out. I know that was a big question. They will be starting this fall, so next month, but I'm keeping some things close to the chest. So other than that, ask away. So hello to all of you, Kim and Natalie and Sharon and Pat, one of my dear friends, Pat, from my store in Buffalo. So hello. Okay, so we're going to talk today about pocket peekers, which is a new collection from our sister company, Scissortail Stitches. So for some of you, you know Scissortail Stitches, and some of you don't. Scissortail Stitches is our little sister, our cool little sister to OESD, and she celebrated her first birthday in June. If you don't know about Scissortail Stitches, please go and check out our website, which is scissortailstitches.com. Or if you are lucky enough to live near an OESD retailer, ask for your retailer to carry the Scissortail Stitches CDs in the store, because they're really awesome, and it's a site that is gaining traction, but they're really still kind of unknown, and we put out some amazing collections on Scissortail Stitches. So if you are a fan, let me know also in the comments. That would be awesome. So Pocket Peekers is a collection we released last month, I think, although time is running together. And it's a really neat idea. I have a couple things I'm going to show you. I'm going to try some fancy camera work in a little bit. We're going to go through step by step how you make, how you use that collection. And that is what we're going to do. So let's get started with that. Let's see if I can figure out how to, if I can remember how to do this. Looks like I can. All right, so Pocket Peekers, Scissortail Stitches. Collection number 51240. Again, you can purchase this collection at your OESD retailer if you're lucky enough to be near one, or by going to scissortailstitches.com. If you do not know if you're near a OESD retailer, you feel free to send us an email, support@oesd.com, and we can help you locate one. We love our local dealers, and it is something really, really important to us that you support them. And there are ways that we have that you're supporting them even when you shop on our website. But of course, especially during these times, going to your local store is so important to them in whatever capacity they're accepting customers, whether it be actually going in or curbside or phone orders or whatever. We're all kind of doing what we can. So in any case, Pocket Peekers, Scissortail Stitches 51240. This is neat, and I'm not sure it translates through the pictures. So these pockets are actually functional. So here is my little sample. Let's see if I can do this. So I have this adorable little t-shirt that I made. And this pocket is an actual pocket. So you could put things in them. Don't put scissors in them if they're actually going on a toddler. But just to show you how that works, there we go. Super cool, super functional. They're actually done in 2 hooping. So I'm going to step you through how that works here. So let's start. First, I want to talk about the products that you're going to use for this collection. So if you have stabilizer questions, shoot them in the comments. I'm happy to clarify anything. Also, remember, if I go too fast or you can't hear me or if you want me to repeat something, let me know. So the first stabilizer that's used in this collection is our Fusible Polymesh. So Fusible Polymesh is awesome. I have some here. Here it is. It is I don't know if you can see it, but it's a kind of a soft, drapable, this is a cutaway stabilizer, and it has a fusible backing on it. So you're going to use the Fusible Polymesh in the, hi Irene, in the hoop when we're doing our pocket steps, and you're going to see that in a second. It is wonderful for, it's a cutaway, so you're going to use that on garments primarily, and it is nice because it has a really soft drape. So if you've ever embroidered something and you have, get that weird, like after you trim it away and you get the kind of chunky outline behind your t-shirt, you want to use something like a polymesh. It comes in fusible and non-fusible. The most important thing to know about Fusible Polymesh is that, and polymesh in general, is that contrary to the name, it's actually not made of polyester, it is made of nylon. So the most important thing is when you are fusing polymesh or just pressing it, you want to use a low to medium iron, because what will happen is people say that it shrinks, and it doesn't shrink. It actually can melt if you hit it with blazing hot heat. So just medium to low iron, and you'll have 0 problems, and it will become one of your most favorite stabilizers. And all of that information, just so you know, so here's the label. Get that on screen there. It's all on the back. So if you're ever unsure about how to use a stabilizer or what temperature to fuse it at, that kind of thing, it is all on the back, and I always put mine right inside the roll. The next stabilizer that we are going to use, and this is used when we actually do the hooping of the t-shirt itself. So the first stabilizer you use when we make the pocket, the second hooping is actually embroidering on a t-shirt. It's all going to make sense in a second, I promise, is our Ultra Clean and Tear Plus. There it is. It is shiny. It's got a paper backing. This is a pressure-sensitive tearaway. So Ultra Clean and Tear comes in a plus version and a regular version. Plus means that it is sticky. Ultra Clean and Tear is an amazing stabilizer, and I will admit fully that it took me a while to understand why you would use Ultra Clean and Tear. And some of you remember way back when we first started doing our perfect tips, we did an episode on making a tea towel apron. And you can view all of our episodes on our YouTube channel or by going to videos on our Facebook page. Ultra Clean and Tear is a tearaway stabilizer. And when you tear it, it leaves kind of fuzzy outlines, and you say, why is this stuff here? I don't want it fuzzy. But when you're embroidering on something that's going to be laundered, it is the perfect tearaway stabilizer because those fibers are going to break down as you wash. So when you first tear it away, you're going to see some stuff kind of sticking out. Don't worry too much. Get away as much as you can. Tear away as much as you can. But then you can, as you launder it, they will break down further. So it's not a water soluble, but it's a really nice, soft tearaway stabilizer. So that is a tangent there. And again, please comments if you have any. I love to see if you're following me as I go on tangents. Hi, Alice. Hi, Tracy. Nice to see you. So the next thing we are going to use on our pocket, or on our pocket peekers, is my favorite Fusible Woven, and I actually have a piece of it here. So Fusible Woven is my favorite product we make. I use it on everything, and everyone who knows me knows that I say this over and over and over again. Fusible Woven, some of you may know the product Shape Flex or FS101, SF101. It is a product, and I love it too. It is a product that you're going to use as an interfacing. This is not necessarily a stabilizer. You're going to fuse this to items that you are going to embroider before embroidering them. So this is our, my opinion, better version of Shape Flex. It fuses really nice and fast, and it's going to give your item. So let's say you're doing a quilt block. You're going to put this on the cotton. Your applique pieces, you're going to put this on the cotton before you use them, and it keeps everything from puckering and wrinkling. And in this case, let's see if I can find it. It actually goes on the back of the pocket pieces. So that'll make sense again in a second. But Fusible Woven, if you don't have any, get it. I promise you, you're going to love it. It also comes in black. Whew, there's a lot of stuff here. The next thing I want to talk about is topper. So we are embroidering on a knit, hi Alyssa, hi Liz, a knit t-shirt. So a couple things you want to remember when embroidering on knits. Ballpoint needle. Why do we use a ballpoint needle? It's the same reason that you sew with a ballpoint needle when you're sewing on knits, because the fibers of a knit shirt, you don't want to cut those. You all have probably cut, put a little hole in a t-shirt, right? And then it starts to kind of get bigger and bigger because the woven fibers, once you cut them, they start to unweave. So ballpoint, the needle, if it was sharp, you're going to cut your fibers. If it's a ballpoint, it actually kind of burrows between the fibers. So ballpoint needle, we sell those on our website. I'm sure a lot of your retailers carry a ballpoint needle. You can get away if you can't find a ballpoint embroidery needle. Just use a ballpoint sewing needle and you'll be okay, I promise. So ballpoint needle. The other thing you want to do is you want to use a topper over your embroidery. And a topper, we have two of them. I have them on the screen here. We have a heat removable topper and a water soluble topper. So the toppers look like this. They kind of look like saran wrap. They are not. Do not use them as such. And I don't know, you can kind of tell the difference. This is the heat and this is the water. The water is a little bit cloudier, but in real life, you can see there's a texture on the heat removable. I've used a lot of heat removable toppers in my embroidery life, and I promise if you haven't tried Heat to Go, you're going to really like it. It doesn't do that thing that some heat removable toppers do where they get gooey and stick to your item. You actually touch it with your iron after you embroider it, and it disappears. You have to hit it with the iron. You actually have to touch it. It doesn't remove with in the dryer. You have to hit it with an iron, and the water soluble will actually dissolve in water. So the topper is going to keep your stitches kind of above the weave of your garment and keep them looking really, really nice. Before we're almost through with the stuff you're going to use, the next thing I want to talk about is gentle touch backing. So that's this stuff. This is what you will use after embroidery. So there's stabilizers, right? And there are things you use before, Fusible Woven, and things you use after, like a backing. So this, and you'll see, I'll show you how to use it. It's fusible on one side, and you actually iron it over the embroidery when it's done to keep it from scratching the skin of the wearer, whether it be a young child or a husband or yourself. It makes the back look professional and keeps it super soft. And the very last product I want to talk about, we're going to talk about our Tearaway Tape, which is our paper tape. It is critical to make sure your pocket goes where it's supposed to go. I'll show you that in a second. So, that is a lot of stuff, but you guys know to have successful embroidery, you have to have the right products. You know we make the best stuff out there. And I think that most of you have a lot of these things in your stash. If not, go to your local store and get them, or you can check us out online. So let's go through the process of making this little guy. Okay, so again, I told you that the very first, there's two steps, right? We're going to make our pocket in one step, and we are going to make our t-shirt and add the pocket in a second step. So the first thing you're going to do, and you can see here on the screen, is you are going to hoop a piece of Fusible Polymesh, and you will stitch the very first step of the design. Yes, Irene, we carry that tape. It's our product. It is OESD embroidery, expert embroidery tape tearaway. And I bet you your local store also will carry it for you. So we're going to hoop our piece of Fusible Polymesh. And the very first step in the embroidery process. So we have two files, a pocket file and the t-shirt file. You're going to bring up the pocket file and embroider the first step. And you can see on the screen here, it's a little bit tough because I had to make a fake line. It's going to embroider a placement stitch. If any of you have done applique like that before, I think you know the general concept. So it will embroider the shape of a pocket. You're going to take a piece of fabric, whatever fabric you want to make your pocket out of. I backed that first in Fusible Woven. You can see that on the screen. Especially with the knit, the Fusible Woven is going to keep your piece from stretching. I have a sample piece, but of course I've left it over there on the other side of the room, and I don't want to abandon you here. So I think you guys get the picture, right? So face up, you can see on the hoop here, put your piece face up. The next step is I used a piece of topper. In this case, I used heat removable topper, laid it over the top. And then I'm going to stitch the next sequence, whatever it is. In this case, it is the little shark. Here's our pocket. Oh, backwards. So the topper is keeping those stitches up above the weave. Then we're going to remove as much after we finish embroidery, right? You're going to remove the majority of the topper. It's going to make your life easier. Just pull away as much as you can. Hi, Kate. The next step is you're going to take your second piece of your fabric, your pocket fabric, and you're going to place it face down, as seen here, over the top of your embroidered pocket. Tape it down, make sure it doesn't move away. If you're like me, you will use your fingers sometimes to keep the piece down. I will not tell you to do that, because if you embroider through your fingers, then you're going to come and say that Carrie told me to embroider through my fingers. So please use tape. We've all embroidered through ourselves or know someone who has. And then you are going to stitch the pocket sew together stitch that has a real name that has escaped my brain. So you can see, if you've done any of our stitch and turn, it also has this great kind of neck here. So you can see those stitches. And what that does is when you turn it, and I'll show you this in a little bit, it helps you tuck that piece inside. So I'm sure you've made things before, whether it be embroidery or sewing, where you sew and then have to flip and turn. And sometimes it's tough to kind of get that part to lay flat that you tuck inside. So then you're going to take it out of the hoop and you're going to trim it. Trim it just like you would anything else. You can see here I trimmed my corners off. Hi Sharon, thank you for loving our tape. And Alice loves topper. They're so nice to see your comments. So I trimmed the corners, you can see that. And I don't know if you can tell, depending on how big your video is, I make a little snip here in the corner where you have that right angle, and that helps things lie flat when you press it inside out. So just a little snip, be careful you don't want to cut through your thread. Turn it inside out, give it a really good press. You can see, it's just so cute. And you must, if you don't have our expert point and press tool, definitely add one of those to your library of tools. It has two tips, let's see if I can do this, a skinny one and a big one. And it is great for turning things exactly like this inside out. And because of these balls at the end, it makes sure you don't poke through the corners of your pocket. I have done that. Is that the worst thing ever, when you're turning something and you jab the point of your scissors or the chopstick or whatever it is through the corner? It's the worst thing ever. So turn it inside out. So that is the completion of step one. So when you purchase this collection, you're going to actually get, so you get a whole bunch of files. You get the pocket file, the shirt file, and both of these come in 2 sizes. So this is the little tiny pocket because it's for a little tiny t-shirt. Can't do this, but you'll see, I'll show you in a little bit, we have larger sizes as well. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Joyce. So part 1 is done. Very easy and super, super fast. So we have the sharks, and there's some girly ones and some generic ones, but I love this little shark. So next step is we're going to embroider on the t-shirt. And you don't have to do these on t-shirts. This is my example, and I'll show you some other applications. But for this case, we're going to do the t-shirt. So now we're going to talk a little bit about embroidering on t-shirts, right? Because that is something that scares a lot of people. It's not scary, I promise. Hi, Sharon. Thank you for loving the talking. Hopefully that was a real comment. I love talking to you. So next step, we have our t-shirt. So this is the inside of the t-shirt. So we're going to use our Fusible Polymesh. Remember, low to medium iron. So I actually fuse, you can see, to a big chunk of the shirt because you're actually, I'll show you, you're going to remove most of this anyways, but it's going to make your life a lot easier when you're embroidering. So just fuse a piece just like this kind of over the whole back of the shirt. I promise it's going to make sense in a second. The next thing you're going to do, and this is something I'm really excited about. So for this collection, because placement is so important, right? Because it's a pocket on a person for the most cases, you really need to know where that's going to go. You don't want to screw that up and end up with a pocket around your belly, right? So we always have recommended using templates for placement. So some of you know that you can print out a template out of software, free software if you don't have software that you purchased, but not everybody knows how to do that. So for this collection, I asked them to include these center point template sheets. So this is actually in the PDF. So you can see in the picture, this is a center point template. We included them for every design in here. Make sure when you print it do not scale it because you want it to be to size. So I printed it on our template sheets, which I did not include in the products that you might want to use, but we have a fabulous product that I use all the time. They are called Stable Stick template sheets, and they go through your printer and you print out your item, whether a template from your software or the center point sheets. And when you peel off the paper back and trim it, it's a sticker with a crosshair, a removable sticker. So I know that a lot of you have placement tools built into your machine, right? So I was that person who said, I don't need templates because I have placement tools on my machine, right? I mean, we've all said that. Why would I want to do something like this? So the reason that you would want to do something like this, let's see if I have that picture, is that when you are wearing an item, it looks different on a person than it does flat on your table. So here's an example. This is, I made my husband put the template on. This is for the one I'm going to show you in a minute. Have the person or the little one, if you can, wear the item, stick it to them on, leave it on, take the item off, and then hoop around it. So the reason you're going to do that is that it might look totally different once it's laying flat, but you're going to make sure it's where you want it on the person. Especially with females, we are not flat, right? So we've talked about this a lot in classes, is you really, as a woman, don't want embroidery too low because you don't want the wheels of a bicycle maybe in an inappropriate place, right? I don't think I need to say a whole lot more than that. Template sheets are going to be your solution. You don't embroider through this. You put it on your item, hoop your item, use the placement tools on your machine to line up your design to match where this is, take this off, and then embroider. So hopefully that makes sense. And you are going to run it through, yes, thank you, Tamara, for answering. Because this isn't a heat-activated fusible, it doesn't matter if you're using an inkjet or a laser printer. If you're using a fusible product, you want to make sure it's inkjet because the laser printer gets super hot and then you'll get a big mushy mess. So hopefully that all makes sense. These are one of my favorite products, and like I said, it's something I didn't use. I resisted until I started realizing what a help this is. I use these also in quilting in the hoop for placement of my quilting designs. I promise once you start using these and you learn how to print out templates on your machine from your software, if you don't know how to do that, ask your local dealer. Again, there are free softwares that will show you that you can do that with. So people are agreeing with me about the placement of items. Kate says that embroidery might end up hidden under the chest shelf if you don't use placement. So, Irene, that's a great question about the iPhone. I will show you something in a second you might like. So, you print it out on paper, trim it, and then peel it, and then you have your sticker. Place it on your item. Then in your hoop, you're going to hoop our Ultra Clean and Tear Plus glossy paper side up. So you can kind of see there's a matte side and a shiny side. So you're going to want to hoop that in your hoop with the shiny side up. And then you're going to score it with the tip of your scissors. Don't score through the entire stabilizer. You want to just get the paper, and you can see here, then you peel that away, and that exposes the sticky. Then you're going to stick your shirt down. Okay, try and get where you put that template kind of in the center. And then you're going to use the placement tools that are on your machine, whether it be a camera, whether it be pinpoint placement, whether it just be moving the design and rotating it to match up to where that is. You're going to put your topper on and then embroider. So with shirts, depending on your machine, you're just going to kind of want to rumple it up like I have here and clear the space to embroider. You're gonna have to watch it, but it's not as bad as it seems. So here is what it looks like when I embroidered the first step. So I then removed the topper. The reason you're gonna wanna remove the topper before you do the next step, which is add the pocket, is that if you have topper down in here, it's kind of a pain to get out once the pocket's on, because then you got to reach down in the pocket. So then you're going to take your little pocket. So here's an important thing, and I don't know if you can see this well, but the very last step, and I don't know, let me know if you can't see this. There is actually a placement stitch that it makes. So here, 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 here. So maybe you can see that. Let me know if you totally can't, but if you can't, I promise there is. So the last step is a placement stitch. It's going to say, here's where you put your pocket. So you're going to tape your pocket. This is where the tape comes in handy. Tape your pocket just right exactly where that placement stitch is. And then the very last step is going to be, thank you, Teresa. Teresa can see it, is going to be, let's see if you can see this, the actual tack down of the pocket itself. I know, Sharon, it's a tough line. So I'm going to show you, I'm actually going to try and show you on a machine in real life. You're going to have to let me know how this works because we're trying some new technology here. But I'll show you how to finish this before we move on. So it tacks it down. It's so cool because it comes along and does a triple stitch and just tacks that pocket on the three sides. I guess there's sort of four, but the three sides, and leaves it totally open at the top. So you have a completely finished professional pocket, and the embroidery that you did on the shirt kind of tucks behind it, so it's seamless. It's super easy. So you do that. Ta-da! Second step done. So what do you do next? So remember how we put that giant piece of fusible polymesh on the back? So when you take it out of the hoop, because it's Ultra Clean and Tear Plus, you can actually just, Lisa loves it, Sharon, back up sites. That get me all lost. The Ultra Clean and Tear Plus is a stabilizer. It's a tearaway, but if you are having trouble tearing it away, spritz it with water and it will release super easy. So then you tear away as much as you can, and you put it on your pressing surface and then press. Basically, you're heating the polymesh back up, if that makes sense. So you have this big piece of polymesh. You don't want that still there. You iron it again. So you get the adhesive hot, and before it cools back down, you're going to pull that polymesh up. It comes right up once you get it hot again because it's a temporary fuse. So it's perfect. So you pull it up and then you're going to trim around it. Don't trim out all in here because you want that stabilizer there after, you know, while it's being worn so that it doesn't get pulled out of place. Then you're going to take a piece of Gentle Touch backing. That was our soft backing here. And do a better job than I did at cutting this out. I don't know, it looks kind of like I chewed it. I'm not sure what I was doing, but cut it out and make sure though that you round the corners, because if you round the corners, hopefully more gracefully than I did here, it will help it stay fused down and not peel up in the corners. And then you will have a beautiful, adorable pocket peeker. Those of you who know me know, no, Sharon, the polymesh can't be used a second time. It's a stabilizer. It's just removing it like it would be for tearing or something like that. I do not have little ones at home, and so I am that person who made my dog wear this little shirt. He is a very good sport. This is Sam. He is a sort of a celebrity. For those who have the, we just released a collection with dogs in it, A Doggone Cute, and Sam makes an appearance in that collection as well. He is, he's a good sport. So thank you to my Sammy for modeling. So super cute. Kelly, I know you're out there in the crowd. Kelly has the perfectly aged little grandson who she made shirts for him. Kelly, maybe you can post again on the Facebook group, but adorable for little ones. But what if you don't have kids or dogs who want to wear shirts? My dog did not actually want to wear this shirt, but they love us, and so they do. So are there other things you can do? So let's see. I can show you quickly if I can remember. There I am. So I made, there's also in the collection just a plain pocket. So it's still done in 2 steps. The first step just does that tack down or a placement stitch on your item, and then the pocket gets put on after. So Irene, if you're still out there, you can see I put my phone in there. But what I will say to you is this pocket, on this example, I actually resized. So this is the size, let's see, got a lot of stuff going on. All right, so that's the little pocket, and this one hasn't been turned yet, but that's the big pocket, right? 2 sizes. So this is the size of a normal shirt-sized man's pocket. That would be funny, Irene. Irene said it'd be funny to have the pockets on the seat of your pants. That would be funny. So what I did is I resized the design to be about 7 inches. So there's a lot of controversy about resizing. Should you resize? Should you not resize? So 2 things. I did mine in software. If you have software, that's great. But with a design that is just a running stitch. So for this, in this case, without any of this extra stuff, this is literally a straight stitch, right? It's a straight stitch placement and a straight stitch for assembly. And this applies to quilting as well. A lot of the times you can really get away with resizing that more than you would typically a design that is a design, you know, with stitches. You wouldn't want to pull this design way up because what'll happen is all these stitches will be far apart, or if you bring it way down, they're going to be super dense. But with quilting or, like I said, with straight stitch, you can probably get away with it. Just test it out first. I mean, the worst that's going to happen is it doesn't work, but if you test it not on your actual item, you will probably see that you have success. So in this case, I resized this pocket because this is just a little canvas tote bag. And the way you're going to do that is because there's 2 parts, right? There's a back part, a placement part, and an assembly part. You're going to resize them the same percent, right? Because they're 2 parts, and if you don't have them matching up in size, then this whole process doesn't work. So if you resize the placement 25%, resize the pocket file 25%. So let me know if that doesn't make sense. I think it does. Thank you to my friend Kelly who helped me figure out how to say that in a way that makes sense. But so I resized that. So let me show you quickly how I made this, because what I don't want you to do is be afraid of embroidering on things that you wouldn't typically embroider on, right? So how would you hoop the bag? So here's a thought. Take your bag apart. So with a tote bag, if you can see, you guys for sticking with me here in my chain of thought, this is just a raw edge here, right? In this case, it's serged. Cut that open, right? We all know how to use a seam ripper. So what I did is and you could also just cut the edge off. I used a seam ripper, ripped the side open, and then I sewed it back together when I was done. You don't need to buy a fancy special tote bag that's open, or a t-shirt that's got an open side, or a little onesie that's got an open side. All you need to do is use your seam ripper, open the side, and then sew it back together. If you don't have a serger, just use a zigzag stitch. A straight stitch would be what I suggest, and then zigzag over the edge to keep the end from raveling. But think about opening things up, especially if they don't have linings. It's a really simple process, and it opens up a whole wide world of embroidery options. So here's my tote bag. You can see I opened the side up. No big deal. It's kind of fun, actually. Then I turned it right side out, turned it back right side out, and used a water-soluble marking device. Hooped my Ultra Clean and Tear Plus, same stabilizer. There it is, stuck. So I already made the pocket. I didn't show you that part because I think by now you figured out how I made the pocket. Polymesh, 2 pieces of fabric, turn it inside out. And then it stitched the pocket down, right? So not a difficult process. I wanted to show you the inside of the bag. So the reason I didn't put polymesh on the inside of the bag first like I did for the shirt is that this bag has no stretch. So after the embroidery, you don't need stabilizer in there long term because it's not going to distort. So this is just the back. You can see I didn't put anything on it. I don't think it really needs it. You certainly could do whatever you want, but not necessary. And then I just used my serger, serged up the edge. Again, if you don't have a serger, talk to your local store about maybe getting one in your life. I promise you will make your life a lot easier, but a straight stitch and then a zigzag or an overlock stitch on your sewing machine, no problem. So here is my pocket with the items in it. So Irene, this is an iPhone 10, I think, and it fit in that pocket. I resized it to, I believe it was 7 inches. Or so, but resize it to whatever size that you want. But if you're going to resize, just test it first. Use some scrap fabric. I mean, the worst that can happen, like I said, is it's not going to work. You know, the thing that I think is so important is to not be afraid of embroidery. Test things out first. You know, if you're going to embroider on a jean jacket, we talked about this a lot on the Perfect Stitch. You know, I just did this jean jacket. This is Sashiko Reflections, the new collection. And people said, well, I'm, worried about it. How does it work? Will it go through? Go to the Goodwill, buy a cheap jacket, and try it out. The worst that can happen is it doesn't work. So, yes, and Deb says overachievers would bind those tote bag seams. You could also do that. Deb, I am not an overachiever, but I think that would be beautiful. I love you guys. So, hopefully that all made sense. So, I'm going to really quick before we go, I'm going to try and show you the actual process of this a little bit. So we're going to try a new fancy technology option. Thank you, Lisa. Yeah, isn't this a great jacket? So this is Sashiko Reflections. I don't know if you can see it. Our brand new Sashiko collection. It's just beautiful. Today is actually the last day. I believe we're having a sale where if you buy 10 Sashiko designs, you get you can pick out 10 more for free. So that's on embroideryonline.com. That's only good for today. So if you're not watching this live on the 6th of August, 2020, don't email me. I'm sorry, the sale will be over. So let's try some fancy technology. Let me show you really quick. You saw this picture. This is my dear husband, Sean. I said, please, can you put this shirt on? I'm going to stick this sticker to you. He kind of looked at me like I was insane, but this is how you would do the placement for a man-sized pocket. So let's try. So you guys are going to have to tell me if this doesn't work or if you can't hear me. So let's try this. Okay, so hopefully now you are seeing a live shot of my embroidery machine. So if you don't see, let me know. So there's my hand. Look at that. Okay, so you guys can see this is the final right? Are you guys, I think you're seeing it. You are. So this is the final t-shirt that I made. Oh, good. Good, good, good. So here's the inside. Polymesh. Great. So I want to give you a tip. Here is my tip. Sam is photobombing. Are you guys not seeing? No, you're seeing it. Okay, perfect. It's like if you see my dog, I think you're seeing the old screen. Okay, and that's Walker, by the way. Walker was making a guest appearance. I have 2 puppies. Okay, so here's my tip to you. So you guys saw that I did my shirt, right? And this pocket looks an awful lot like this fabric. And the reason is that it is. So I bought a packet of shirts and I cut one of them apart to make my pockets. So especially with grown-up shirts, right? You can buy a packet of shirts for, I don't know, this was from Amazon and they were like $7 for 4 of them, right? I mean, I'm sure it's not the best shirt that's ever been, but for this purpose, and do the same with the kids' shirts, right? So if you want your pocket to match, you can certainly have a contrasting pocket made out of cotton. It would be super cute. But in this case, I just have an extra shirt. I cut it up and put Fusible Woven on the back and then use that for my pocket. I also tested my design on it, this shirt. So I tested my design first on this scrap shirt. So just a thought, we all have shirts kind of laying around. So, or you could wear this, I guess now as a bib if you wanted. So, let me heat my iron up. So, we have, now I've lost my pocket, there it is. So, this was my pocket, I stitched it out. And here is that neck I was talking about. Now you're gonna see me struggle to turn something on live TV, but if you have our expert point and press tool, you're going to just use that. This is thrilling TV, Facebook, whatever we're doing. You're going to use that to poke out your corners. If you don't have one of these, I promise you need one. So remember how I was talking about the neck? So right here, you're just going to tuck it in. And as that, when this is placed down, it will sew that up. So then, and my iron is on low because there's polymesh behind this. Give it a nice press. Okay, right? So this is going to be a little tricky, but you can kind of see that. So you can't see probably. Hello. Let's see. I think my camera turned off. That's a bummer. Well, I think I lost my battery power. So hopefully you got the general idea. I was going to stitch it down live on TV, but I guess we are not going to do that. I promise that it would work. So you flip, you turn the pocket, you press it, you place it, and away you go. So sorry about that part. I guess I didn't think about battery. And away you go, and you will end up with a shirt that I have thrown on the floor. Sharon, I wish I could get Sammy to hold the camera. I don't think it would work. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Does that make sense? Anybody have any questions about how that process works? I think it would be, so Kelly out there in the crowd is making aprons. So you could do it on an apron. You can do 2 pockets on like a half apron. You could put it on tote bags. I was thinking almost like a busy book would be really cute. So if you had made a soft-sided book and had the little pockets, and you could put little goodies in there for little ones. I think there's a lot of options. So again, this is a collection that I just don't think translated super well flat. It was tough for people to see. So that's the process. I hope that makes sense. I think you're really going to enjoy making it. If you didn't, somebody just came. Sharon just got here. This video will be posted on our YouTube channel and a little bit after we're done. It will also be here on the Facebook page on our videos. I think it's on the side. So I'm glad that makes sense for everyone. Christy, I'm glad that makes sense to you. If it makes sense to you, I know we're good. So really quick before I go, you can stay if you'd like. I want to talk to you quickly about what's going on here with OESD. A lot of you know oh, Teresa, what's the name of the designs you're using? So that is pocket peekers. Let me put that back up on screen for those of you who are late to the party. And being live is so fun. There it is. Teresa, hopefully that helps you. So OESD, we are still here. We're still doing this. We cannot wait to come back out and see you guys in the actual stores. You know that life is a little bit different right now. So a lot of your local stores are doing virtual events with us. If you haven't seen one, contact your favorite store and ask them to have us. We would love to see you. Teresa, they do come in a set. Yes. So the reason I'm telling you this is that the part of the reason I have not been with you daily is that we've been building programs behind the scenes to try and virtually reach you all. We're furiously working on all of the holiday release schedule. Lots of really good things coming. I promise I will try and come in and see you in these episodes more often. It is tough to juggle all the things, as I'm sure you know. But I'm glad you're inspired. It was so fun to get to spend some time with you. I've missed you. It is nice to see you all again. I will post this episode for you to watch after. If there are no more questions from you, my friends out there in the crowd, thank you for spending time with me. As always, happy stitching. Be safe. Stay healthy. Keep sewing, and we will see you soon. So bye.